My beloved brothers and sisters, there is a hadith in which Imam As-Sadiq alayhi salam, our sixth Imam, addresses one of his companions. His name is Ibn Jundub. He says, Ya ibn Jundub, inna lish-shaytani masa'id yastadu biha fatahamu shibakahu wa masa'idah. He says, Ibn Jundub, the shaytan has always his own traps that he uses to entrap people. Therefore, beware of his traps. Beware of his tricks. And make sure you do not fall in the traps that are set by you by the shaitan. So Ibn Jundub says, I asked the Imam alayhi salam, قلت يا ابن رسول الله وما هي? Tell us, what are these tricks that the shaitan uses? What are these traps that he uses to entrap us? So the Imam alayhi salam replied, قال أما مصائده فصد عن بر الإخوان. One of his tricks is that the shaitan always discourages you from reaching out to your brothers, to be nice to your brothers. Shaitan always tells you, do not think about others, rather think about yourself. Don't worry about other Muslims. Worry about yourself. Do not worry about the Muslim Ummah. What is happening in Yemen? أنا ما خصني. It has nothing to do with me. I'm doing good. My livelihood is going fine. I don't worry what is happening now in Palestine. I would not worry about what's happening now in Lebanon and Iraq and Syria. I just worry about myself. This is what the shaitan teaches us, my dear brothers and sisters. فَصَدٌّ عَنْ بِرِّ الْإِخْوَانِ. The shaitan's tricks is to discourage people from reaching out to others, to other Muslims, to your brothers in faith, to extend a hand of kindness to other Muslims. This is one of his tricks. وَأَمَّا شِبَاكُهُ. The nets he uses, the shaitan uses, the net. وَأَمَّا شِبَاكُهُ فَنَوْمٌ عَنْ قَضَاءِ الصَّلَاةِ الَّتِي فَرَضَهَا اللَّهُ. One of the nets that shaitan uses is that he would encourage you to sleep so you do not wake up for the salah. You know, when we sleep, sometimes it is hard for us to wake up for salah because our sleep is so sweet. You're so tired. You're so fatigued. Shaitan uses sleep to discourage people from waking up for Salat al-Subh or for any other Salat, Salat al-Layl. So that is one of his nets. When it is time for Salah and people wake up, the shaitan comes and he says, go back to bed. Enjoy your sleep now. There is still time. He goes back to sleep and all of a sudden he wakes up when it is too late, after the sunrise. This is what the shaitan does, my dear brothers and sisters. According to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, this is exactly what shaitan does. He whispers in the ears of people not to wake up for the salah, to ignore salah. وَأَمَّا شِبَاكُهُ فَنَوْمٌ عن قضاء الصلاة التي فرضها الله. ألا أما إنه ما يعبد الله بمثل نقل الأقدام إلى بر الإخوان وزيارتهم. There is nothing more rewarding in the eyes of Allah than going out to visit your Muslim brothers and sisters, to reach out to your Muslim brothers and sisters, to be kind to your Muslim brothers and sisters, to visit them, to reach out to them, to be good to them. Then he says, وَيْلٌ لِلسَّاهِينَ عَنِ الصَّلَاةِ. Woe to those who do not wake up for the salah. النَّائِمِينَ فِي الْخَلَوَاتِ. Who spend their time sleeping when it's time for salah. الْمُسْتَهْزِئِينَ بِاللَّهِ وَآيَاتِهِ. Those who have no respect for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His signs. My dear brothers and sisters, I would like to make a few more comments and then I would like to conclude. Last week, a prominent newspaper, Wall Street Journal, revealed that Israel has been spying on US talks with Iran. And one senior official in the White House says this is not something new. I mean, Israel always spied on the United States. But what is new is that Israel used the information leaked from the negotiation between the United States and Iran against the United States when Netanyahu spoke and addressed the Congress 2 weeks ago. They used this information to mobilize US legislators against the United States government. And this is a red line in international relations. This is absolutely a red line. This is considered interference in internal issues of another nation that Israel has no right to do. So not only they are spying with the United States, they are using the information they received from the negotiation between Iran and US to undermine US and to undermine the US policy. To those who still support the Israeli policies, to those congressmen and women who still support Netanyahu, we say, wake up. Don't be a sellout. Do not choose the interest of a foreign country over the interest of your own country. Enough is enough. Israel doesn't care about the interests of the United States. Israel indeed does not care about peace in the Middle East. All it cares about is its own interest. All what Israel is trying to do is to cause fitna and trouble in the Middle East. Indeed, I did not hear this from myself, but I heard it from a friend today, a few minutes ago. He said he heard that an Israeli official said, commenting on the war launched by Saudi Arabia against Yemen, that these are one of our most happiest moments. That's very true. Israel now enjoying one of its most happiest moments to see a Muslim country, a Muslim nation going against another Muslim nation. It is so shameful, my dear brothers and sisters, that Saudi Arabia, instead of choosing to fight with the enemies of Islam, like the Zionists, like ISIS, they chose to fight another Muslim nation, oppressed nation, impoverished nation, the Yemeni people. And instead of extending hand of help to Yemen, what they are doing now, they are bombing Yemen. You know, Yemen is one of the most poorest nations in the area, in the Middle East. And they deserve all help financial help from one of the most wealthiest empires in the Middle East. Not only Saudi Arabia is not willing to extend a hand of help to the neighboring country of Yemen, but it decided to launch a very ugly war against Yemeni people, defenseless people, civilian citizens. The reports coming now from Yemen that says that all hospitals in Sana'a and other cities are filled with injured people. People who are injured and wounded because of the Saudi bombing of Yemen. So it is so unfortunate, my dear brothers and sisters, to see even our own government, the United States, and instead of stopping Saudi Arabia from continuing its aggression, it gave the green light to the Saudi government to attack Yemen. Not only they gave the green light, they are offering some logistic and intelligent information to the Saudi government so they can continue attacking Yemen. So, my dear brothers and sisters, my last comment will be about what happened last week here in America, in Houston again. 2 weeks ago, an Iraqi guy who had just arrived from Iraq 3 weeks earlier was shot and killed in Houston, in Dallas, Texas. And it was reported a random gunshot. They always talk about mentally ill or random gunshot when the target is a Muslim or Arab. If the perpetrators of the attacks are Muslims, formerly Muslims, now immediately they are called what? Terrorists. But if the target is Muslim, then the perpetrators either mentally ill or it is random gunshot. Just like in North Carolina when the 3 Muslim students were killed, they said it was a dispute over parking space. When this Iraqi individual was killed 3 weeks ago in Dallas, Texas, they said it was random gunshot. 3 or 4 days ago, 2 brothers from Lebanon were killed in Houston. Again, for unknown reason. The cause is unknown. Now we know why. We really know why. It doesn't need a genius to figure this out. That's why 3 students, Muslim students, were killed in North Carolina. Why an Iraqi guy was killed in Dallas 3 weeks ago. Why 2 Lebanese brothers are killed 3 days ago in Houston, Texas. It's very obvious. The answer is Islamophobia. There are people in this country who had made it its own mission to attack Islam, to defame Islam, and to go after innocent Muslims who have nothing to do with Al-Qaeda, with ISIS, or any terrorist group. People who happen to be innocent, peaceful citizens of this country, people who migrated to this country escaping from persecution in the Middle East, who came to this country trying to establish a new life. People who have no stake in any conflict, in any political conflict, being killed. So, my dear brothers and sisters, this is a very alarming situation. When during last 2 months, Muslims and Arabs are being killed for no reason other than being Muslims and Arabs. This is another form of terrorism. But unfortunately, the press The media in this country does not talk about it as it is a form of terrorism. They are trying to dilute the message, dilute the situation by calling the perpetrators once mentally ill or an aggravated assault or random gunshot. We Muslims need to speak up, my dear brothers and sisters. We need to be very careful. What happens in Texas may happen, God forbid, in Michigan. It can happen in Ohio. It can happen in New York. We need to address our representatives at the House of Representatives, at the Congress. You need to reach out to them and ask them to speak up, to come with a very clear resolution, legislation that condemns any attack against any minority group, including Muslims, and mainly Muslims. We need to tell the world and America specifically that our blood matters. And the world and people in this country must respect the fact that we are part of this fabric, the fabric of this nation. And therefore, all Americans should join the voices condemning these attacks against Muslims.